Hello, hello, hello. I'm just about to leave Tasmania, so this is a really quick live. And I just really wanted to do it here because it's such an awesome energy. It's so peaceful. I can think straight here. And my trip in Australia is nearing the end. There's just a couple of weeks left, and it feels like it's going to go quick. And what I wanted to share today is something I've been working on for quite a long time, but it only became a reality about 3 or 4 months ago. And I had realized that, so this is quite a vulnerable share, this is quite me going into my own personal story a little bit, but my heart had been trapped in an old story for a very long time. I didn't really realize till 4 months ago what that actually means. But what it did mean was that part of my heart had been wounded a long time ago and had felt, if I looked into it with my new energy eyes and the tools that my friends and I have, it was like my heart was like staring into the sun. It was just too painful to even look into it. The wound that I had experienced in, like I'd given my heart to someone and it all ended quite badly. And my heart being trapped, what felt like being trapped in like a metal cage, wounded, but for over a decade. So it had remained trapped in a pocket of my consciousness or in that story for so long that it was just like it was constantly, like I hadn't moved on. Like that part of my heart hadn't been able to move on. And life carries on, and then you build new relationships and you fall in love again, or you think you're falling in love again. But what quality, where is your heart at when you fall in love again? So what's happened is my friend and I, Rob, he's just an amazing support to me, Rob Grover, and we work together often and do sessions on each other often. And this came up to do a session on me, and this heart retrieval that I'm sharing with you now has emerged as a session I can do with you, and that I've written and developed whilst I've been in Tasmania. And a heart retrieval is basically being able to reclaim parts of your heart that are trapped in a pocket of consciousness with an other, or even just within yourself. Maybe the connection with the person isn't even alive anymore, but that part of the trauma around the heartbreak is still there. So I've noticed that in my kinesiology, I'm holding the phone today, which is a bit awkward. I noticed in my kinesiology techniques folder there are not many many balances on relationships themselves, and I guess that's because there is so much dogma, ideology, there's so many theories and ideas, and everyone's idea is different, and there's all sorts of different kinds of relationships, and people talk about soulmates, spirit mates, twin flames, consciousness mates. It's like so much out there. It's a bit of a minefield, but I believe the container I've created around heart retrieval is safe and gentle and powerful, and I think necessary. I don't think that I could ever have fallen in love fully or properly in now or in the future if I hadn't done this heart retrieval, because part of me was trapped over a decade ago in a very traumatic, sad story, like a very Shakespearean story. And reclaiming that part of myself has meant that I've freed up my heart energy to experience love with trust, innocence, and purity again. And so what's going on in a heart retrieval is, well, first of all, we can look at what, because the kinesiology is muscle testing, so we're getting a yes and a no from your body. And what we're doing is asking your body, how much of your, is your heart wound, because if you have a heart wound, is it still connected to the ex-partner or the person in question? And by looking at that, you can find out, well, yes, there's still sort of like the threads between you and that person are still connected, are still live, and so that could be healed or cut or worked on. If it's not live, then it's only with you, and then it's about working on healing the heart with you. So because of the kinesiology, we can really ask and find details. If it is connected to another, you can actually ask, what percentage of my heart threads are still trapped with another? And so you could find out that, wow, it's like 15 years ago, it's over, but 15% of your heart connection or wound is still stuck, trapped, linked with that person. Because when we're intimate with people, or there's intimacy, like sexual energy, but heart energy, we're really like meshing and linking with people. And it gets more complex because with our old auras, if you follow me at all, you'll know I talk about the old aura and the new aura. And the old aura, we have all these karmic links with people. And we've been connected with the same beings lifetime after lifetime, and had these like relationships again and again. Like, you know, you meet someone, you're like, oh my God, you know, we're totally connected, or there's this karmic bond, and they're not always the best people for you, but it's all, it's getting a bit complex now into theory, but it's the karmic kind of, I call it matrix recycling system that we've been thrown into and that we are now coming out of. And having the aura transformation means that you can go into having relationships with people spirit to spirit rather than through karmic links to your astral bodies. And so if you're so with the heart retrieval, we can actually ask what kind of relationship you've had with this person. So Louisa and people that have just jumped on, this is about the heart retrieval sessions that I've been developing, and that help you reclaim your heart from people you've had relationships with, or people you're even in relationships with now. Because the people you're in relationships with or have been in relationships with, the threads that you share could be unhealthy, toxic things. It could be that that person you were with had serious mental health issues or sexual entities or any kind of energies. Their consciousness has been wrapped up with yours when you've been intimate. And I know that I've been single a very long time because I will not be intimate with people that don't look after their energy, their mind, their emotions. So that kind of leaves the pond is small, because otherwise I'll get sick. And I've had relationships with people that don't look after their energy or not in a good place, and I then feel sick and I lose my sparkle, I lose my shine, and I don't feel well. So basically I've learned a lot about maintaining energetic integrity and going into relationships with purity and innocence and with all your threads intact. So having a heart retrieval is a bit like what people call a soul retrieval when they're collecting parts of their spirit. Well, I've decided that it's just as important to collect parts of your heart, and that it cannot just keep, you know, parts of your heart can get trapped in wounds with people and it just relives like in a traumatic cycle, or it can be connected and you know, it's just like sometimes it's just a few percent, like 5% of your heart is still connected to some of your exes. Having that back means that you can offer the next relationship you have, or your children or whoever you love, a full heart, not half a heart. So this is just a quick live just to introduce the idea of a heart retrieval, and I use kinesiology to find out how much, you know, is this connected to someone else still, or is it actually just your wound? Is your wound actually something to do triggered from your childhood, like actually has nothing to do with the ex that you think it's about, or is it some pattern that you picked up as you grew up, you know, that's just repeating and touching on the trigger? And so we look at that, and then are you obsessing about past partners? Is it because there is still an energetic connection, or is it your mind obsessing? And then we work on the mind. So it's just figuring out what is actually going on with your heart and with your love and your relationships, and then working from there. So yeah, heart retrieval is now on. So it's a bit like you might activate your potential. I've kind of taken what I learned from creative kinesiology and developed creatively tools that have worked for me and are making a difference in my life, and sharing them with the world. And so this is much love from the awesome house I'm in Tasmania. It's called, you can look it up on Instagram. It's I think it's Design Kids Shack. It's awesome house. There's art everywhere. And now I'm going back to the field to help out at New Kind, and that's a revolutionary space for social change, and lots of amazing people coming together to change the world. So I'm excited to see how the site's been building since I was last there, and yeah. see you guys soon. And if you want to know more about heart retrieval, I've written some stuff about it. I'll put it on my website when I get back to England. And yeah, I'm still open for aura transformations in Australia, and I start back in the UK up and running on the 4th of April. So book in. Bye.